Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Cerulean Hills for what I hope is going to be our legendary edition of Spin for the Win. I say I hope because it's fair to say I've been getting my ass kicked in here. I've been trying to push the difficulty to show you the potential of the build, and mostly due to my own shortcomings, it has not been very successful. So what I'm going to do, rather than do any talking beforehand as I normally would, I'll go ahead and try and do the chain first, and if by some minor miracle we manage to make it out the other side, then I'll do the talking about the whys and wherefores of where we're at. I can say that the basic strategy is going to be to hide behind the excellent CC of our raid weapon, Maw, which is as close as I could get to the ignition weapon we had on the paladin in the last life. You'll notice there we've got salt, we've got guard breaking, we've got legendary paralysis. So between all that, we've got a significant buffer of defense there. And believe you me, we need it against some of the stuff that's frequenting these dungeons. Did I set the right difficulty? I did. Okay. So not going to talk too much about what's going on, but I will mention I try to go into most encounters
You can't put aside the inevitable.
with the 1400 temp hit points from a Blood Feast swap weapon, plus 500 from our Blood Tribute in the Frenzied Berserker tree. So that's a significant barrier. Given that most hits measure in the thousands at this level, it's something that we really do need. Trying to keep all our short-term buffs on.
By its long-abandoned rear entrance. Foxpaw came here to find some sort of sacred bounty.
Hasting just before the encounter to try to take advantage of the melee power from the prowess set. Got chains ready to subdue these guys. I was wondering whether the whirlwind attack might have been a bit of an overkill, but looking at how often we use it, I don't think so. Please, please, can we kill this guy before our uncanny dodge runs out? Please. Thank you. So that's our number one defense against the Doom. We used our epic moment there, which does carry dodge bonus as well, plus the uncanny dodge to make it almost impossible for him to hit us, but even so, I'm always nervous when one of those things pops up. Let's just wait for the chain to come off cooldown. Such a valuable tool in keeping us safe. You can see a lot of paralysis going off there, and against those targets we've got some big advantages against the helpless things. I'm going to try and invis through this little section.
Cool, damp air flows up from the caverns deep below.
Re-rage. See how slow they're attacking now. Even so, one hit and we'd be in bother. Let's get the 10 hit points back on. Oops. Oh, vengeance, lovely. Should really have put some spell absorb on for him, but we got away with it.
You hear
Okay,
the scrape of metal claws
let's
on
get the
stone
temp
coming
Some
from the
giant
area.
points
We'll
again.
teach those overgrown sloths not to mess with the dwarves.
Boss beating weapon, primal scream, bit more strength. Hope for the best.
Sparks fly from the eyes of the mechanical guard as it focuses in on
Uncanny dodge on again. I don't know whether spell absorb would protect against the electric stuff that thing does. I think with the uncanny dodge going, we're going to have enough to beat him. Happy
the
days.
guardian collapses into a heap, and sparks of electricity jump into the nearby rune-carved stones.
I must not forget.
Oh, no, don't die at the end. Oof, that's just how quickly it can turn. My word. That would have been a tragedy. That would have been proper defeat from the jaws of victory.
Where the light
And that's
streams
just
in
an
from above the
illustration
stone
of
single massive
how
eye
nasty those
rests
crowns
on the
can
ground
be.
beside
I
you.
would rate those,
It
not the
seems to
Doom
glow
or the end
with a
bosses.
faint
Those
inner light.
Red Crown,
You
or in
found
this
the
case
sacred
Maybar
bounty
Champion,
Foxpaw was looking
are
for.
easily
Now to
the
return to the
worst. They just go
gatekeepers and
straight
tell them
through your
what's happened.
fortification and deliver these crushing hits. So it's difficult to ever feel like completely safe. Okay, one down. So hiding often, as you've seen, behind the temporary hit point shelter. You've also seen just how quickly those can get chewed up in the 1,000 and 2,000 hits the crowns can do. These next three each have one little, well, at least one little thing you can do. I suppose the invis in that last one was a shortcut of sorts, but there are things in these two that you can
Before
do
she
to
disappeared, Lily Hargrove
make it a
returned
bit
home
less
in search of
painful.
something bright and loud. All you see when you enter is an old woman sitting alone by the fire. She doesn't seem to notice you.
Trying to remember, always get the temp hit points on. There's often
The
a
old woman rambles
scorpion
on,
in
thoughts
here.
clouded by some terrible experience. But
That's
suddenly,
there.
a shadow passes over her face. The garden! The garden! She gasps.
So you can see there, the CC is really lessening the amount of abuse punishment that we have to take. Try and trigger the blood tribute as soon as I see we've taken a hit, just to keep the temp hit point cushion
You find
somewhat
a
on.
dull and rusted scythe among the other garden tools in this workshop. You take it with you. Perhaps you'll need it outside.
Hold the door. Hold the door now. Oh, these bosses. Don't let them get near us. Nice. Yeah, those crowns, I'm just terrified of them. You can see why. So here, we've got a little intelligence swapping item. Search, intelligence, trinket I made. Got to unrage to be able to do the search, but it just saves us from having to... Oh. What the... This has always worked in the past. What's going on here, game? You can't be serious. Is it because we've got that ring on? Oh, there we go. Did that have intelligence on it? How has that made a difference? Oh, greater heroism. It's a bonus to skills, isn't it? So we really are on the borderline of being able to find that thing. I should, with hindsight, I should have put some skills into, you know, useful things like search. I put intimidate, but I've never used it, so I should have gone for something like search and made our job here somewhat easier. So I'm just on the threshold. I think I've got, what, 70... Where is it? For search, 43, but 70, 78 when we do the swap. So that's just about enough. And we know that 74, I guess, is not. So maybe you need 75 to find that thing.
You can't put aside the inevitable.
Let's get the defenses ready. So there's another dilemma here. I think I'm going to stick with our... Even though the weapon's going to get chewed up horribly by the rust monsters here, we need the CC that it gives. I can't risk going in there without it. So you just never know what kind of reaperage can turn up. See, the weapon's already mangled. I can't see how badly damaged it is. I hope it's not too bad. Because bang goes our strategy if it is. I don't think I can repair it. Or do they get restored at the end of the quest? I don't think they do they?
I don't deserve to rest, but there are yet foes on the field. But I'll take it.
You use the scythe to cut down the bamboo that has sprung up around the back porch. Before you stretches an overgrown wasteland, the remains of the family's crop.
Oh, crud vengeance. No. No, no, no. That's one for all the times you've mashed me, you monster. Okay. I'll just put the displacement back on. 10 peak points back on.
You hear the ghostly voice again. Almost there, Lily. I'm waiting under our favorite tree.
I rather messed that up. I was trying to be clever with the invis, but I made a mess of it. Got away with it. Probably deserved to die for that. That's one of the things about this difficulty level. It's brutally punishing of mistakes.
Remember, Lily? The voice rasps.
I think, what should I do here? I think I'm going to stick with the CC weapon because...
Notice that something about her seems wrong. Unhinged, even.
There's going to be a lot of trash as well here, isn't there?
Briar screams as the bird descends upon Rosemary and Sage.
So we're going to be less good against the boss, but we should at least be able to...
You'll all see. My voice will shake the world.
Or maybe I swap. Maybe I swap when the trash does come up.
When the vision fades, an incorporeal figure appears before you. You
So jealous. And now look what you want my songs. Come and get them.
blinded in the rage, the phantom lunges forth.
Still trying to... Oh! One. Yeah, we know it's one. We know it's one. Swap back then. Oh god.
Shrieks, her voice echoing through the clearing and sending a sharp pinch
Trash
to your
weapon.
skull. But soon she dissolves. In mist.
Come on. Don't lose now. Okay. So how badly damaged is that weapon? I'm going to have to... I know you can examine it somehow, but I can't seem to be able to do that, so I can't tell. That's annoying.
You read the song lyrics.
I had a
written on the
choice
page.
between
You found
doing
Rosemary's
that
songbook.
and swapping to the... This is the one I'm supposed to use, the ferrocrystal one, against the rust monsters, but I've tried that in the past and got mauled by them and by the reapers that popped up because I didn't have them CC'd, and the trash management weapon is the only one that does that for me, the CC. So we're in a bit of a quandary now. Me being me, I refuse to nip back to repair the weapon, so I think we're going to be just having to hope that it'll stay the course. Of course, in the last life with the Paladin, we didn't have any of this. I've gone the wrong way, haven't I? I've done this, I'm supposed to go to the mine. We'll have to do the mine last if we survive this one. So this one again, if you have bear's endurance and bull strength potions or scrolls or whatever, or the spell to cast, you can bypass some of the pain.
You can't put aside the inevitable.
10 hit points up. Little buffs up.
The local orcs have transformed this cave into a shrine. Something glimmers nearby. It must be one of the visions revealed by the Gatekeeper's spell. A groan from the nearby crowd.
They're a bit too spread out for my liking, this lot.
Though not in any condition to receive damage.
Okay. Lead with the chain. Anything up there? Oh my goodness me. Are you guys going to come down here? Looks like you are. Okay. Boss beating weapon. Got the cracking attacking for some more damage. My god, he managed to hit us. Did we have everything on? Yeah, we did. We had epic... did we have epic moment? No, I think the epic moment's on cooldown. We had uncanny dodge though. And he still hit us. Fair play, mister. Fair play.
I don't deserve to rest, but there are yet foes on the field. But I'll take it.
Fair play to me as well for looking what was up there before charging in, because had I charged into all that, I'm sure I would have died. Okay. Unrage, invis, bears and bulls. And it always leaves you one way that you can go free, in this case this way.
A screen blocks your path, decorated with masks and totems.
Right,
To your
first thing to
surprise,
do. Oh
one of
my
the totems
goodness me.
begins to speak.
They're moving as well down there. Okay, not gonna have time. Just gonna boost up and hope for it. Our shadow jaunt also carries a quick invis, so just hope there's nothing too nasty up here. Oh, what is that? Don't kill him. Okay. If we look down there, I'd rather not look down there. 2 dooms and a whole host of other stuff. Yeah, Shadow Jaunt or any kind of wings here, definitely for the win in this situation. So we do have our epic moment and our uncanny dodge off cooldown, which is awesome. Can put the displays. Make sure all the little buffs are on. 10 hit points back up. We're going to be going with the boss beating weapon. Oh, did I not get the heal? Or was I... Oh, is something down there blocking us from healing? Oh, that's a problem. That's unfortunate. Can I possibly use this shrine and get some
Don't
healing that
dawdle.
way?
We're here to reap souls, not kill time.
No. No healing from that either. Let's just double check. Yeah, we're being blocked from healing. That's a huge problem. Now, is there a Reaper in there at the back? I always have to check for that. Doesn't look like it. Oh! My word. Okay. Caught us with the wrong weapon and all sorts. I'll start again. Is there a Reaper in there at the back? Still can't heal. Okay. Right. We're going to buff up as well as we can. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to start off with the Hood of Unrest going, hopefully. So I can't be raged. I don't... Can I cast that now? I think I can while I've got the Madstone thing on. I think it's the Barbarian Rage that stops that. So... let's put that. And we're supposed to do this now, okay.
It seems that the
And now
final
at
resting
epic
place
moment.
of the Orc
So as
Order
soon as the
is
Hood of
in
Unrest
Florida.
wears off, I've got to do the other one, the uncanny dodge. Let's trigger it now. Come on. Did we get him? I think so. Oh, we just got a stray bird there. Got to be careful with these beggars. Otherwise, not too terrible.
You found what the initiate was sent to retrieve. The skull of an orc elder. Yet who was it that sent the initiate to plunder this sacred site?
Okay.
And why?
I think one of you said in the comments some time ago that rather than double up the Hood of Unrest and the Uncanny Dodge, which would be ludicrous in our situation because we start with 30 Dodge in Reaper, which becomes 80 with Uncanny Dodge or Hood. So we'd be rather wasting one of them, especially considering the Quick Cutter gives us another 6 when we use it. And either chain attack also gives us another 5, so we can actually go into the 90s on dodge using just the uncanny. If we trigger the epic moment as well, we hit the hard cap of 95. So it's not too bad. Right, I've got to go back to the mine now, but I think we'd have to say that that one is more risky than the mine one. Of course, now I've said that, there'll be 3 Doom Reapers waiting for me in
The
here.
old mine here has long since collapsed. Someone must have dug one too many times.
This is another issue I have with the Barbarian raging. I can't really get my Fire Shield cold on easily with the rage business and all that kind of carry on. So I just make do with the boots I've got, the fire absorption boots, and hope for the best in here.
You can't put aside the inevitable.
You've arrived at the main shaft of the abandoned mine. Security constructs shuffle around nearby, still active long after the miners left. A note placed above the lever reads, "Entry to mine
Okay.
2A is forbidden due to collapsed floor."
What have we got in there? Famine. As long as it's not a vengeance. I'm terrible at just leaving vengeance sort of hiding in the piles of things and just not noticing.
Forward is the only
Yeah, these Maybar champions are tough, aren't they? Opening with the chain, AoEs. Let's do our best to subdue this bugger. Yeah, nice job. Refresh buffs, if they'll let us. We'll take that so far. I used to love this chain on my cold druid, especially before the nerf to the dragon breath. My word, there used to be stuff shattering everywhere.
Little good it did for the ones you killed to claim it.
Now if we just swap to a charisma item here, should be able to do the
A nearby Caneth crystal
UMD
hums
check.
with magical energy. It's connected to a barrier that blocks the path forward. The barrier
Okay,
fades, and a wave
I
of
think we're all
searing
right for
heat buffets
temporary
your face.
points.
An ancient
Refresh
magma
that.
brute lumbers about in the large chamber ahead.
We do have uncanny. I think we'll do the same as we did before. We'll go in with the Hood of Unrest, I think. So just unrage.
Keep your wits about you. Giants are fierce brutes.
Oh, we can't. It's on cooldown. Okay, I forgot. It has a 10-minute cooldown. Okay. Try and open with rapid slash and cracking attack so we get the big boosts to attack power straight away. AoE's very handy for the trash. And my goodness me, he is dead. That is beautiful. Let's not die to this rubbish.
Sound of its magma flowing into the chambers below. You bend over and pick up a brightly pulsing
Happy days.
chunk of the
Well, that
creature.
escalated very
Ancient
quickly.
magma brute. The something old yet new that Capstone
Okay,
sent here to
more than
collect.
happy at the way that went.
Baubles and flummery.
So that's our boss beating weapon at work. I'll show you that as well when we get out of here. Well, I'm just just delighted to have got through the chain in one piece. You might be wondering how many it took me. It's funny. It's very spiky. All this as soon as you start going into the realms of the Doom Reaper,
Long since collapsed.
it's
Someone must have
it's
dug
quite
one
conditional on what the dungeon throws at you. I'm not saying a better player wouldn't have done a lot better than me. For sure they would, but some of the situations, like there was a fear of vengeance and a doom together, and I couldn't really run away because the fear would have got me. I couldn't really stay there because the doom was going to murder me, or the vengeance was going to pop and buff the other two. It was just a nightmare, and in the end I succumbed. But more than happy to get through that. Let's recall and do our discussion then of where the build's at. Too long didn't listen would be... I'm delighted at what it's doing, particularly when combined with a Healy type from our little group. This bubble healer that one of us is doing at the moment, Favoured Soul Dwarf. So he's got the radiant force fields to give. I think he gets, is it 4 or 5 per quest? They last over 30 seconds, so comfortably lasting for most boss fights. He did keep me up against the dragons at the end of the... What's that Ravenloft one? Is it Invitation to Dinner that can end with the 4 dragons? Oh my god, the pain. I'm not saying I wasn't getting carved to pieces, because I was, but he did enough between the bubbles and the healing he has, the healing pillar and other stuff, that I didn't succumb to it, and he managed to kill them quickly enough. So yeah, the combination of the damage output and a Healy type has been really good, and maybe a bit more a bit more interesting from a group perspective, because that paladin I had, albeit at a slower pace, could basically do everything, couldn't it? Didn't really need healer support, especially not below Reaper 6, and it was so survivable as well. Whereas this thing is not that survivable and really does benefit from help. And you can change then, instead of bothering between encounters about refreshing temp hit points and that kind of thing, you kind of YOLO just with your blood tribute on from one encounter to the next, and it has a nice nice feel to it, I can tell you. Like if you trigger the epic moment and you think, right, I'm going to make full use of this, bulldoze one lot, go straight into the next lot. It's quite fun doing it that way. So let's find our little vantage point. I like to go and sit, I don't know why, I like to go and sit on top of this. Come on, don't show me up now. No, I'm sure I could get up on top of this thing. There we go. I like to go and sit here. Right, let's try and make it as quick as possible then. So a quick look round the gear. It's the first time I've put together... Is it the first time? No, second time, because the Paladin was the first, wasn't it, with stuff from Mithranna. As mentioned before, it's challenging to use the Mithranna stuff, because some of the most sought after stuff that you want, like the Fort Bypass gem on there, is extremely rare, and it's just such a pain to try and get. So the old set bonuses is in many cases, especially for alt characters, are still going to serve you well. Like the two different sets from Dino, I think is still a decent combination. And in those two sets, you have a lot of the rare stuff, the imbue dice, and is it imbue dice you get in there? I can't remember. I know there's a helpless damage in there, isn't there? But there's a lot of, and the Sora Kel set as well, I think, has two of the different rare ones. That's got imbue dice and I think Fort Bypass, or is it the helpless damage? Anyway, I digress. So glasses, goggles of the Berserker from Mithranna, really nice, extra boost to damage and con. This hat I particularly like. It's got like the Crown of Summer there for the healing amp and the melee power, but also we've got legendary accuracy on there. Because we don't have precision on this ragey build, you can't really put precision on a raging build because it'll switch the precision off. We've had to go with power attack, and so our accuracy is less. So we want to eke out all the accuracy we can, and I think we've done that well between the hat and the armor here. We've got two lots of accuracy there on the armor, and bearing in mind we have our battle trance also gives us insight bonus to attack, or it should. It's not saying it does there. Insight bonus to damage and DC. I thought they gave bonus to attack as well. Well, that's easily remedied. We can see here +1, 4, 6, +1. So it is giving bonus to attack as well. It's just typed wrong. I thought that was right. All the class ones, and this is obviously from Favoured Soul, give attack, damage, and DCs, whereas the universal tree ones, like Know the Angles from Harper, it's just damage and DCs. Given that we're a bit limited on attack, it's nice to have the bonus from that. Right, moving swiftly onwards, that's our con item, with a lovely curse on there as well. Two on strength, but loads of con, fortification. One of our Lemordia items, Profane Life on there, very nice. And of course, these Lemordia items, you can slot all sorts of nice stuff on there. We've gone for Wisdom for our Battle Trance and Deception for sneak attacks. Cloak, it's a love-hate relation for me, this. In our little groups, it's good for him to attract all the attention because that's very helpful. But it also means I can't do anything on the raiding side because it would bugger up the attention from any tank, and it would also get me killed. The legendary conditioning is awesome. One of not too many items in the game that has that. I think that's come out of one of the. It's out of Mythdrana, isn't it? Either the dragon or the worm rare chest. Super item this for our build. The strength between the strength, quality strength, and the ram's might, just lovely. Second Lamordia item with a nice curse on there as well. Insightful double strike we didn't have anywhere else, and we've used it to get our dex for our reflex save and quality damage, which we didn't have anywhere else. This one mainly for the insightful PRR and MRR. Insightful sheltering items are few and far between. I can only think of the Dire Bear belt from Fae, and then after that they've made it more painful for us by making them separate, haven't they? I think almost all of the cloaks from Lamordia have insightful MRR, but no PRR to go with it. I like the thunderclap as well when that goes off. I've no idea if it does any meaningful damage. I just like it when it goes off the big boom. Boots, awesome absorbs. As far as I know, the only item in game that has all 4 of the common absorbs in one. So really nice to have. Super defense against the nasty damages over time that you can get. The higher up the difficulty you go, the more things like Black Dragon Bolt start to become lethal. So that's a defense against that kind of stuff. Not amazing, but still some synergy with our build, this one. Quality wisdom for our battle trance, quality deception for sneak attacks. We've got insightful deception for the sneak attacks on the epic quiver. The downside to equipping that is the concentration there. So if ever we were under fire and wanted to do a scroll, there's a very, very high chance that that scroll would fail because we were being hit and interrupted. Lovely artifact, 5 filigrees slottable in there. It's come from the Den of Vipers raid, so I think fair play to me for joining in with that one and doing okay. I've joined in with Red, my archer, for the damage side. I've done the tanky thing in there with both Fools here as the paladin and my little dwarf paladin tank. So I think I've deserved a nice item out of there. And maybe the game thinks so too, because the curse on there is insanely good. 2 fortune bonus on sneak attack dice. That's really incredibly lucky. Normally I just get Curse of the Commander for boost to hirelings and pets, and you all know what I think of hirelings. Armor I think we've seen already. So the Mythdrana ones, if you don't have the pack, they kind of deviate big time from the norm. So we don't have the standard healing amp, fortification, this kind of stuff on there. It's more offensive stats. So we've got to make sure we slot the healing amp fort and all that if needed. Weapon, you've seen it's just kept us alive really nicely. Actually, no, that's the wrong one. That's the Maw, it's called, that comes from the Threats Old and New raid. I've done the tanking in there. I'm a bit less good at when it comes, a bit less confident when it comes to doing the, going with the party. I tend to stay in the Maralith room and don't go and help with the optional objectives, even though I'm sure my Artie Red would be more than capable of going and helping with the damage output he has. Or indeed, this character here, I think, could probably do a good job at that. So, yeah, the CC we've talked about, just amazing, and you've seen it in action. If you weren't too bothered about holding up the opponents, you could go with something that was a bit more damage dealing, but for my purposes, it's been absolutely invaluable in the higher difficulties at just taking the edge off things, stopping them moving really too much, and giving me a chance to finish them off. Filigrees, as you can see there, I've gone for 3 different sets. prowess 5-piece, because I'm definitely not going to be down for swapping, you know, every time I want to trigger a boost. That would be way too much for me. I don't even swap for the battle trance now, because that was getting too clunky. So prowess 5-piece, every time we trigger a boost for 10 seconds we get 50 melee power, super stuff. 4 shattered device for debuffing the opponent's defenses, particularly good against dooms and bosses. And 5 Dreadbringer, again coming back to the fact we don't have precision stance, so we need all the fort bypass we can get. 5 Dreadbringer gets us, I think, 15 melee power plus 30 fort bypass, so nothing not to like there. I think we talked already about the heroic enhancements, didn't we? Just to recap the nice things you can get in the Shader Kai tree, because one of you mentioned in the comments to one of the previous ones that you might try a Shader Kai with the Bard swashbuckling mixed in. So I think the things pretty much pick themselves. There's a lot of mediocre stuff, but this line just picks itself. This is all the chain and buffs to the chain. Really nice stuff. You get the dizzying spike chain as well. This one I like, the ghastly one, so an extra 5% uncapped dodge. That coupled with our quick cutter 6% uncapped dodge means that we can be into the 40s dodge without any kind of boost or anything going. When our epic moment's going, assuming we don't have uncanny, we can be in the mid-50s for dodge. So still a significant degree of survivability, even without uncanny or Hood of Unrest. So yeah, heartily recommend that you go, at least if you're going to invest in Shader Kai, at least go up to the Greater Spike chain for the second chain attack. They're on a reasonable cooldown, but between the two of them, you usually always have one available for subduing a group, which is what I'm using it for, to get the salt onto the groups. Down the bottom here, we've got 1 wisdom for our trans. This is my pet peeve here. 6 points to get what is basically 1 special ability on a 30-second cooldown. That's wrong, it's 30 seconds. So you pay 2 points for the phase, which is just become invisible. 2 points for the rush thing, but these are on the same cooldown, sadly. So you can only ever really use 1. So I've chosen to put the jumpy one on the bar. As you've seen situationally, it can be incredible, like when it allowed us to cut that whole nasty pit area in one of the Gatekeeper quests, which had 2 dooms among other things. And that's the one that that lowers the cooldown from a minute to 30 seconds. I still think 30 seconds for it's a bit stingy, isn't it, for 6 points invested? But in the context of this tree as a whole, I could argue, what else are you going to put the points in to get you up to these top tiers where you want to be for the big chain? Displacement, very nice to have. 2 sneak attack dice, nothing not to like there. And because I had an extra point left over, I went for the one in Ghostly Essence. I don't know whether the Reaper mode nerfs that into complete uselessness, but given the hits I take, I would guess we'd get some use out of that if it is at all useful. Epic Destinies. So unlike the Paladin, as mentioned, we've gone all out offense pretty much here. First time going full in Dreadnought, and it's been fun. It's been effective. Synergizes very well with the build, the way we've got it set out. So every time we boost, we've got an extra on all ability scores, plus on hit points. The mantle itself, not amazing as it is just down there, but it's giving us an extra 1W damage just for being in it. Ghostly, if you don't have it anywhere else, we do have it on these excellent glasses. Extra boosts. Power attack is giving us another 6 crit damage. So given that we've got quite a wide crit chance, 15 to 20, it's pretty good to have that. More double strike. Double strike. We ended up. Well, I'll do the stats and things in a minute. We ended up with 86, I think. Looking at it, it might be a bit too much. That I think we could have left it at 80 because rapid slash, which you've seen I use relatively often, gives a 20 bonus to double strike, and the useful cap for double strike is 100. It's not like the ranged, if you didn't know, where anything over 100 is useful. Anything over 100 here is wasted. So the Reaper's double strike that will take us up to the 1 teens, half of that is wasted. But I've still kept it there because I think it might be the most useful thing to have. Maybe I'm wrong. Where was I? Double strike, yes. So still some super useful things up here. Helpless damage, very nice to have. Anytime you see one of those green paralyzed circles around an opponent, they're copying for all this extra damage. So it's nice to be able to create this damage ourselves. Of course, we're not in the Dragon Lord League where they can just completely reliably freeze a group and then get mega helpless damage bonuses to it. We're not in that league, but neither do they get the uncanny dodge or the facility for these 10 hit point defenses that we have. So it swings and roundabouts. Vulnerability on boss targets, awesome. I think we saw a great example of that on the rock thing at the end of the fire one in that last one. That really disappeared quite quickly. I was shocked. So that's a combination of vulnerability and the PRR debuff that we have on our boss beating weapon, which is a Kukri of the Undying Age. It's got legendary dust on it for the PRR debuff, stacking debuff. Otherwise, it's got the same stuff on it that the standard one has. I've put Deconstructor and Ruby of Good in the weapons to give us the good and adamantine bypass. That coupled with the cold iron from the Fury tree takes care of most of the needed bypasses for us. Top tier, an extra one on 90 to 20. That's just standard, isn't it? This one I've made quite a bit of use of. It is on a long cooldown, but it's down there next to my big chain and other big attacks. It does get used regularly, and it's a automatic crit with a +2 multiplier, so it hits hard. Chance to get action boosts back. Honestly, I've never run out of action boosts. Unfortunately for you, Brian, that means I'll rarely, if ever, use a shrine. But hey ho, I guess in a raid, perhaps I might explore the full extent of whether it's possible to run out or not. And the epic moment, very pleased with this. As you can see there, loads of good stuff in one happy button. Just really, really nice. And if you happen to trigger it against a Doom or an End boss, especially if combined with Uncanny Dodge, I'd say this makes you quite a big favourite to win that one, even without support. Fury Tree, as most of you will know, Quick Cutter, Ragey Heals, Primal Scream for a nice little stat bonus. Loads of other little things in here as well, bonuses to double strike, strength when raged, rages themselves as we're using them very often, you know, for heals and to trigger 10 hit points, that kind of thing. So lots of good stuff there. And then in the Shadow Tree, we got evasion from the third core, the convenience of DDO from the second one. This is a very nice fit for our build, given that we're in light armor and going for evasion. 6 on reflex saves, extra bonuses to the max dex thing. So as mentioned, we end up with 30 dodge in Reaper. It's saying 28 there, but it's 30 in Reaper, which is pretty nice, I think. Bonus to double strike and immune to energy drain, which would be nice if we didn't have it in Vistani. More on fort bypass, also more on fort bypass in that core there. And the chance to trigger sneak attack vulnerability on targets, which we don't take too much advantage of because it's usually us that has the target's hate. But hey ho. Quick look at the stat page then. Important things that I'd gone for. Well, the helpless damage bonus allows us to really smash the any target that gets paralyzed by the weapon we're using. So that's a combination of the cruelty, which is another very rare sun augment, very rare to find that one, and would cost hundreds of shards to buy on the auction house. I'm just not a fan at all of what they've done with these. It's kind of these are the most important elements, and they're kind of locking them behind this really hard to get system. So no, not a fan. So it's a combination of the cruelty, the 15% in our dreadnought tree, and where else are we getting helpless from? I've gone blank. I can't remember. There's something. Oh yes, of course, crush weakness, the feat in epic. So that accounts for 45 of it. I'm not quite sure where the rest comes from, but it's pretty tasty. This is the thing I'm most pleased with, because we don't have precision, yet we've managed to get up to 138 on the fort bypass. I think that's great. It's a combination of the augment you saw, the fort bypass augment. I've doubled up on fort bypass shattered device filigrees in the artifact and the weapon, so that's another 10. We've got armor piercing and insightful armor piercing on the gear. That's another 30 odd. So we've just done really well. There's 5 from the Lamordia patron, isn't there, for doing their quests. So that's a nice thing to have. 5 is on the weapon, of course. I think if we swap the weapon, we'll see it'll go. Yeah, it goes down 5. So 5 is on more, which is nice because that's our weapon of choice. I'm sure there's something else I've missed, if not several something else's, but I think we've done a super job with that. So we mentioned about the double strike. Can we see? Yeah, double strike. So I think it could have gone. I think 80 would be with a build like this in the Vistani. 80 would be a good one to shoot for, because you could always have this on cooldown if you so wished, and that would take you to 100. And bearing in mind you've got the Reaper's double strike as well, which would take you above the 100. I think 80 is a pretty decent target. Of course, it's biased in our case a bit because we've got 6 there from Scourge past lives, and we have another 9 from Epic past lives. So what would that be? If we were on 80, we'd be on 65, yeah. Okay. Melee power, looking at things other people have posted, I'd say that's on the low side. But I guess we have to bear in mind when we're closing for a fight, whenever possible, we will hit the haste boost at the last moment for that juicy 50 extra melee power. Still not amazing. I guess it's because of the compromises I've made with the filigree, refusing to swap things in. So I don't have that much melee power in the filigree. I do have one story for you on that score, though. I was completely without in one of the slots. I needed a melee power prowess. I didn't even have a normal one. So with our little group, we did the Ravenloft chain, and lo and behold, we found a rare one. So I was absolutely delighted at that. I bet that's worth a few shards as well. Anything else to look at in there? No, I don't think so. So PRR and MRR. MRR, I've done the best I can. We put, I think it's in there, yes, solar gem of MRR cap boosting to get that up to 130, which is the most I could manage in robes. And the PRR, well, it's way lower than the Paladin. The Paladin had, I think, about 400 and 200 on those. That's when he was sitting. That's without any kind of defect warding boost or anything like that. So we're a lot lower than that. But I think we can all agree here, this thing's putting out way more destructive power than the Paladin ever was. I mean, that was leaning very heavily on just the one quick cutter, whereas this thing has quite a bit more to it than that. So that's been quite fun. Reflex save in Reaper, I think, is in the mid 90s, so our evasion there is in a good place. I was wondering about this fortification, not even 200, which to me is a little bit low, but I read something not so long since from somebody who was obviously in the know in the forum, who claimed that 200 was fine for, you know, for a tank. So and that anything else, you know, if something's going to go through it, like one of these red crowns, it would go through it at 200, at 300, maybe at 400. So I think, yeah, those red crowns, either they have an enormous amount of fort bypass, or they just bypass everything, and it doesn't matter then if you have 200, 250, 300, whatever. So I think, based on what we've seen so far, I could probably agree with that. Those crowns are the biggest issue I've faced, and other than that, I haven't felt anything, you know, really just hammering through and, you know, feeling like a crazy amount of damage. So yeah, I think maybe I'm gonna leave that there. Relatively happy at that. I think that's about it. I'm sure I've gone on for too long anyway, between the looking at the gear and the stats and everything. I think we pretty much fulfilled the brief. We maxed all the 4 stats that we were after: the wisdom for the trance, the con for health, obviously, dex for our evasion, and strength for the hit and damage. Can I just no, I can't. Let's take us into the harbour just for a last little bit of fun, just to see theoretically, when we've got all the boosts going, how high we might be able to push the strength. I've seen people in the forums with it in the mid 130s. I'm not for a moment thinking we could get anywhere near that, but let's just see. So we're starting 87. We want to be with that in hand, don't we? Primal Scream takes it up a little bit. Death Frenzy takes it up some more. And then is it just the Rage, or is it... No, we have to trigger that one, obviously. That's 102 Rage, 119. Can I go any higher? I'm sure I've seen it in the 120s. I will have done with the... Does that... No, that doesn't give you strength, does it? How would I have seen it in the 120 area? Maybe I haven't. Maybe that's the limit to how far we can... Oh, yeah, with the Essence of Fury, we could get 121. I think that's perhaps as much as I can push the strength on this. I don't think there's anything I've missed that would have given any more. Okay. I think that's as good a place as any to leave it. The long and the short of it is, the chains thing in general is a great deal of fun. Even if you don't have all the racial points to spend, I'd say go ahead and put the points in, take the points out of something else, and just have yourself some fun with it. I think one of the biggest selling points it has is, if you're playing, you know, a fairly high level of difficulty on a melee, almost always you have to put yourself in harm's way to do your damage. But this can really mitigate what the, excuse me, opponents can do to you by, you know, the chain. You can almost always get the first shot in without too much risk to yourself because of the AoE it has. I would say It might even be as much as a delayed blast fireball. The area it has around you, it hits surprisingly far away, which means you can, in our case, with the CC that we're looking to apply to the targets, we can be really successful in staying relatively safe and still applying this debilitating CC on the targets and then following up with the rest of the damaging stuff when they are slow to a crawl. Cheating it may be, but I will happily take it. On that note, I'll wish you all happy questing. I might be back another time with some more exploits. I'm going to stay in this build for a long time because changing stuff around at the cap is prohibitively expensive in terms of resources, jewelers kits, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't plan to do that too often. Thanks very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.